Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Green Book. This was directed by Peter Farrelly, stars Viggo Mortensen, Mahershala Ali and Linda Cardellini, and is the story of Tony Vallelonga, a Italian-American trying to earn money to put food on the table for his family. He's worked a variety of jobs and he currently is a bouncer at a particular club. He's offered an opportunity to drive Dr. Don Shirley, a classically trained African-American pianist, on his journey through the South, played by Mahershala Ali. He ultimately is going on tour through a variety of places through the Deep South, and he hires Tony in order to act as not only his driver but sort of his bodyguard in a way, trying to protect him from things and not allow him to get hurt. Even though he's a very popular pianist and very talented at what he does. And this all takes place in the 1960s, and the film really looks at the relationship and the bond that forms between these two men, a true friendship. Both two men from different worlds coming together and in bettering each other in different ways. Tony teaches Don to sort of relax a little more and take life a bit more easier than he is and not be so straight and stern, but also teaches him to stand up for himself and not to take people's crap and say what he thinks and not be scared of the repercussions of that. And Don shows Tony that he can solve issues and problems without resorting to violence or using his fists, and sort of shows him that violence isn't the way and helps him, become better as a person and more tolerant and understanding of people from different cultures and different worlds. It's a really interesting look at these two men going through the Deep South. And it starts off with subtle racism, bigotry as they go through these towns within the Deep South during the time of the 60s. But as the film goes on and as they get further and further into the Deep South, the bigotry and racism starts to rear its ugly head, and we get to see a variety of things happen to Don Shirley and the reaction that Tony has to the whole circumstances and situations they find themselves in. And it really looks at this whole journey and the bonding that this journey has for these two men and the relationship they form, the friendship they form that lasts the rest of their lives. It's quite an interesting film in that regard, and very powerful in its simplicity. I like this film. I thought it was well done and well put together. It was a simple story, but very effective in its execution. I'm really impressed with this, to see Peter Farrelly come from silly comedies such as Dumb and Dumber, There's Something About Mary, and the remake of The Three Stooges, to do some dramatic piece, to come and do a dramatic film like this is quite interesting. And it's the first time he hasn't worked with his brother, and the first time he hasn't done sort of a slapstick comedy. He's gone for more of a dramatic film here. And he does a really great job. Yes, it does have his humour in it that he usually has with most of his films. It is more of a dramatic piece for him, and I think he accomplished quite an amazing film here. I think the acting is absolutely brilliant. Viggo Mortensen is absolutely fantastic in this. He sort of does a Christian Bale in a way. He immerses himself in this role. He puts on weight, he dyes his hair, he has a different accent and characteristics and mannerisms and a variety of different things that he does in this film. There's very subtle moments where he does things which give the scene something interesting, I think. And he's quite brilliant for an actor who's been around as long as him, and at the age he is now, to still get roles like this is quite extraordinary. And he proves once again how much of a brilliant actor he truly is. And Mahershala Ali is just fantastic. He's an actor who hasn't done a lot of films, but I've enjoyed everything that I've seen him in, and I think he's going to rise and become one of the great actors of all time, and I think he's definitely one of the greatest actors of his generation. He does such a great job here. His mannerisms, the way he holds himself, the way he speaks, he shows that this man was very, very educated and elegant, and also shows how he struggled with things internally. There was things about himself he wasn't that comfortable with, but he sort of learns these sort of things and accepts himself as the film goes on and as the friendship forms between these two men. And he's just so brilliant in the scenes he's in, and the chemistry between him and Viggo is absolutely fantastic. And you can tell that not only are they good actors and work well together, but they spent time together away from the set, so you could get a real sense of that. And I was really impressed with their performance and their camaraderie that they had with each other, which led to some really great scenes. I think this film is a simply told story. It's powerful in moments, and it tells a really good story about friendship. At the heart of it, it's about hope. That even though things can get bad and people can treat people badly, there is still hope that things can get better. that life can be a lot better for people, and there are good people out there besides all the bad people that can support and help you and surprise you in different ways. And I love that, and it has a real heart at the center of it. It was written by Nick Vallelonga, Tony's son, and I think he did a really great job with the script here, and we get a real sense of who his father was and the experiences that he saw and experienced with his father. Linda Cardellini, I think, is really great here as well. She's sort of the heart of the film in a way. She's the wife of Tony, and her experiences with Tony and the support that she offers him is just so fantastic. And he writes letters to her throughout the film that Don helps with. And it's such a brilliant thing, and she gets so excited about the letters. Then at the end, you find out she actually knew that Don helped him with the letters because she knew he couldn't write letters like that. And I kind of liked that. She was very supportive of him and was really the heart and soul of the family unit that they had and that they were part of. And I really liked that aspect to it. There are pretty full-on scenes in this film where Don Shirley's treated badly. He's beaten up by a group of white guys. He's allowed to play the piano and entertain rich white people in these particular areas in the South, but he's not allowed to eat with them. I thought that was such a sad scene, but it proved, like, it really showed what it was like, and it's just sort of disgusting the way African Americans were treated during the 60s, especially in the Deep South, which still is going on, but just not as prominent, I guess. It's a type of film that it's just easygoing, easy to watch. I think it'll get to a wider audience, and people will really thoroughly enjoy it because it is a good, solid story. And I really think this is going to win Best Picture at the Oscars because I just feel it encompasses everything. It encompasses hope, it encompasses friendship, relationships. It looks at a particular period in history. Two main characters in it are based on real people, and the story is a real story. And I just think it's kind of film we really need to win, I think, this year over all the other ones that are nominated. That's just my opinion anyway. My only criticism I give, just a tiny little criticism, is it's not as hard-hitting as I expect it to be. It does feel a lot like Driving Miss Daisy, with the roles reversed and in a cross-country adventure rather than just around town. But it just wasn't as hard-hitting that I expected in particular scenes. But in saying that, it still had the emotional impact of those scenes, and we still got a sense of the characters and what they were going through at that point. So I still think it served its purpose and what the story was trying to tell. Final verdict. Look, I really like this film. If you like Viggo Mortensen, Mahershala Ali, if you like a story well told, a true story about friendship and involves hope, and just a good solid film, you'll definitely thoroughly enjoy this. I was really impressed with it, and I really had a good experience in viewing this film and with the audience that I saw it with. I'm going to give Green Book 4.5 out of 5. I enjoyed myself in the experience. The story was well told and put together, and I got a lot out of this film. It was thoroughly entertained, surprised, and it had the ability to make me laugh. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. Follow me on Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.